So I'm going to be setting up a top managed system today. You'd be using this in a situation when you were able to get to the top of the cliff and you're out with some people and you want a top rope and you want to stay up top. We're going to be going over this ledge here, so our master point's going to end up right over here. So what I do is I start out by standing here with my back to that, and I look within this general range. Kind of show them with the camera. Kind of this general range, and I see, what do I see back here? There's several trees, not a lot of rocks. What I chose are these two anchor points. This one over here to the left, and then this one over here to the right, two trees. And so over here on the left, what I did, this anchor, I took a piece of, come on over, took a piece of tubular webbing, did a water knot, got that? Put the knot at the back of the tree. I kind of fed it through these trees here, so that way our point for this one is coming out to here. So that's our first one. Have a lock and carabiner on that one. The second point, is going to be this tree here. Because these bushes can be a potential issue, I kind of fed the rope through the bushes first. And on here I'll do a cloveless hitch. To do the cloveless hitch, take a figure 8, a bite of rope, do a figure 8 on a bite. Just like so. Lock and carabiner. Wrap it around a couple times. Clip it back on itself. Lock it off. That's our second point. Okay? Come out here with me. So when we're doing this, as you explained in class, we're just going to follow like the timeline of the rope. So that's our first point. We follow it down. Following that timeline of the rope. I will do a clove hitch on this eventually. For now, I'm not going to do a clove hitch because I want to adjust where my master point is going to come out. Want to end up right here. Just kind of pulling this in that general direction. This is where our master point will end up. So I walk back to this point. Now I tie off. Make this a stationary point so it doesn't move. Let's get us a clove hitch. Right here, once again, I pull this in the general direction that I want this to go. We're going right over this ledge behind me. Tie figure 8 on a bite here. This internal angle we want to be less than 90 degrees. It's right at or close to 90 degrees. A good way is just take your elbow. Makes sense? Your elbow's 90 degrees, bring it down. That's just a little less than 90 degrees. That didn't make a whole lot of sense, but I think you get the idea. Anyways, there's our first master point. Now, if we want to extend this master point, we need to take the other end of the rope, continuing to work down the line of the timeline of this rope. Come back here. So once again, just kind of retrace. Point 1, back there on that tree, rope comes down to our master point, back to our second point. Now we're just working down this progression of the rope. Here we do a clove hitch. So on our master point, we're going to put a lock and carabiner, obviously, and we're going to clip this back into that point as well. This is pretty short. We wouldn't necessarily need to extend this master point. We want to give this enough slack here as well, so that when this whole thing is weighted, there's no tension on this, so I need to extend this right now. Another reason why we use a clove hitch here is they're easy to adjust. Should be easy anyway. So once again, we want that loose. We wouldn't need to extend the master point, but just for the purpose of demonstration, I'll extend it because the cliff is right there. So I'll extend it just shortly. To extend it, you just, once again, working down the timeline of the rope, you tie another figure 8 on a bite, wherever you want that point to come out. So right here, figure 8 on a bite. Okay, so there's our master point extended. Make sure all these are locked, of course, and I'll go back through and check all that in the end. So now, continuing to work down the progression and timeline of the rope, comes out here. On this end right here, I'm going to tie the clove hitch back to myself so I can essentially take myself out to the edge to look over and kind of see what we're working with. So, kind of got my rope on the wrong side again. Fix that. Okay. Tie myself in, and considering the stretch of this entire system, you know, I don't want to be over the edge, I want to be at the edge. Do a clove hitch here, tie in, lock off, give it a jerk to test it. Now I'm good to go to come out here to the edge. Once again, nice to use a clove hitch because we can extend this very easily. Now look over the edge, see what we're dealing with. It's going to be a tough climb. So, once again, I'm clove hitched in. This is where I'll belay from. So it's a nice comfortable ledge for me to belay from, so I'll spill my rope out right in this general area. Got a mess. Does this make sense to you? Yeah?
It is.
Okay. So do you have your shoes on? You all ready to roll?
Oh, yeah.
So you'll be tying in here
Yeah.
soon. This is our lovely climber over here, Christina.
Where did my shoes go?
So in this scenario, I'm pretending like I'm guiding Christina, but realistically, she'd probably guide me because she's way more experienced. All right, so on the opposite end, this is where the climber will go, right here. So that is a courtesy, I'll tie her figure 8 for her. This is where she'll retrace through a harness and tie in. And I would have, if I was guiding somebody, I would have them do that back away from the ledge. So I would kind of toss in the rope back there. So she'll tie in back there, nice and safe. I will take this in now, continuing to work down the progression of the rope. So just to retrace that, we have our master point, comes to me with a clove hitch, off of me to the pile, over here, off the pile. This is where we're going to belay. So we're going to do a munter hitch off this one. Munter's adjustable as well, and that's what we will be lowering her to the ground with. So I tie that in, clip it off. Okay. So this will be where I belay from. That's where she'll climb from. So she'll tie in there. While she's tying in and getting ready, we'll just take a quick moment to go back through the system and make sure that everything's locked off, everything looks good. Set that off to the side. That's locked. That's locked. That's locked. This one back here is locked. That's the 4th locking carabiner that we have in the system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this system would take 5 locking carabiners. You could also use smaller carabiners like this at different points in the system. You just wouldn't want to use this if you're belaying off of it. So at this point, I'll go back into the system and I'll lower her down to the ground, and I'll show you how to go out of that system and go into a griggery. Follow me.